Hey! If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight.
Good evening. Captain Jim James here with your daily brief. The second video for this week. I think yesterday I'd said to you that I hoped not to have to come back to make one of these videos this week. You never really want to see me coming back to make another video. Now, if you did not watch Sunday's video, I'm going to ask you to go back and review that video or watch that video before we continue into tonight's video. It is important to what we're going to talk about here, because last night I told you about Apple. I talked about Apple specifically and the individual stocks that were pumping the market. So I talked about how you should have sold Apple and only play it on the runs that it is going on. And we'll look at this in a bit, but that is exactly what took place today. But let's talk about today, because it was interesting this morning. As you know, I was posting on Twitter where I was making my entries and exits. I'm also in a Discord that is, the kind that you type into. And I was also in a voice chat Discord in another room yesterday. And it was interesting because I ended up taking a long yesterday right at the open. I took 1122 472s or 474s. I can't remember. But they were like 36 cents. And these printed, we ended up selling these two live on Twitter. They printed for almost 500%. There was a nice run, and we sold out of this play up at the top over here. And this kind of coincides with what I'm going to show you here in a minute, but let's talk about the trading day today. Now, what is interesting is, as we started to sell down over here, I tried to make entry twice in this area, and I got stopped out both times yesterday. And there was no news in the market yesterday. And what's interesting is these trading rooms I was in, everyone else was short down here, where I was long, and I was long on Twitter. Now, both rooms that I was in, everyone was short, and they got destroyed. So if there's any bears out there saying that they made bank yesterday, I bet that most broke even at best. They might have made a little bit, but I know that a lot of bears got trapped in this area at the start yesterday. Now, this is where it gets weirder too. So some bears and I tried to buy this a second time yesterday, and some bears did as well. If anyone out there is telling you that this did not look like a trend day yesterday, they're just straight lying to you, okay? And that's part of what the title card in this video is about, is that this reversal that took place with zero news. I searched all over Twitter. I asked in 3 rooms that I'm part of. I was only in 2 yesterday, but 3 rooms I asked, and nobody could give me an answer. And so nothing was amiss at this point yesterday. You were just waiting for it to cool off a little bit to pick it up for the next trend run up, right, yesterday? So I even had bears yesterday that were switching bull on this trend day. So anyone that's telling you out there that they knew this was the top here at 473, there were some clues that it was the top, but anyone that was telling you that it was yesterday, I'm gonna not believe them. Okay. Now there were some clues. First of all, not the FOMC. I usually don't watch CNBC, but in my search for news, I did yesterday turn on CNBC, and I realized at that point that there was no news. There was a hit squad being interviewed on CNBC, and that hit squad, what they were doing was selling the market. And now, with prefacing that, they're not just selling the market, but they're rotating into the trades that we talked about in last night's video earlier than I anticipated. Now, that's okay, because even in last night's video, I told you that any of your long positions you should have been sold out of at this point, and we're only day trading or short-lived trades for the rest of the year. So you shouldn't have lost anything today other than maybe re-entries later on in the morning somewhere in this area here. Now, the hit squad that came out yesterday, it was important to see that that was a hit squad. They were coming out and telling you that not only had they taken profit off the table on plays from 2020, but that they were also going to take profit from the plays that they had drove up in late 2021, right? This would be like the Apples and the Amazons, and they at least we got that information today. Now, as we're in this rotation, things can get hairy. So I did end up buying this bottom down here today with spreads I bought them in IWM, SPY, XLE, and XLF. And I got real concerned as the day moved on somewhere in here. I wound up setting sells on my spreads today, and I had some pulled pork sandwiches that were made for me. I passed out yesterday. I took a nap into close yesterday, and they did trigger to sell at 20%. I wasn't left with anything on the table into this close right here. I didn't even see this happen. I wound up waking up at like 5:30 or something today. And I'm grateful that I got out over here. Now, the thing to be concerned about is where we go from here, right? I guess all of you must be wondering what the plan is for where we go from here. So we'll get into this in a little bit later on in the video, okay? But I need to show, especially if you're a bull or if you're a bear, there's a couple things you need to know, okay? First thing is we need to have some confirmations in the next couple days, and I'll show you that in the ES chart. And then we're going to look at the VIX as well. And there's a reason we're going to look at the VIX is because I bet there's some bears out there that said, well, I carried my shorts into the close yesterday. If we're going to reverse the market, that was not what you should be doing. You could have carried this into the close down here, but I would have closed your shorts right at the bell yesterday. And I'm going to go into explain why that is. And we're going to look at the VIX real quick right here. And I talk to you guys about following the VIX all the time. And the reason for that is for right here, okay? You're going to see the VIX. This is what I use as a chart to go long, okay? When I see the VIX tag these tops over here, I start, and especially, like, see this one right here. This was on the 22nd. This was today. You'll see us come up and touch again, and it failed this morning into that 2 o'clock mark, into 2:15, or it was at 3:15. Now you'll see that we shot up again yesterday into the close. When you see this move like this, if you're a bear, you would have wanted to have sold out of your shorts yesterday. And this brings up what more than likely, I'm going to give it like a 90% chance that by open tomorrow, that the market's going to either be green or turn very green at the bell, okay? And that's because of where we are here in the VIX. Now, there is a chance we can jump over this tomorrow at the open, but the probability is that we are going to make some gains tomorrow at the bell or in the overnight. So you want to be aware of this chart for when you're going to short and when you're going to go long in the market. There is no such thing as this number going straight up on one push, okay? Or it might go up in one push if we were to sell the market and have a limit down type situation. But we're talking 99 out of 100 times, even more than that. 999 times out of 1,000. It's never going to do that move above, okay? So, and even if you lost that one move out of 1,000, you're going to still be able to short it back down. So be considerate of this if you're going to be bearish. Now, for us, we're going to be looking for some moves tomorrow in ES, in SPY, to find out if this market is actually rolling over permanently into the winter and early spring. And we'll talk about that here in a minute, but be concerned about this here if you are holding your shorts or if you're holding puts into the close today. Now, we're going to first look at Apple. This is the chart that I posted on Twitter over the weekend. I think I posted it Friday or Thursday, and then I reposted it Saturday or Sunday. And I had this little dotted line up here to show that if we had ripped higher to this upper resistance to then go short, okay? Not only Apple, but this would apply to SPY because we know Apple holds SPY up. This was probably the best indicator today that the market was going to roll over at, I think it was at like 10 o'clock or something like that. You should have known at this point that we're going to come back down. Now, the interesting part about where I made this, where I made this is that you can almost certainly guarantee that if you're going to watch a pullback in the market, you want to be watching this Apple chart that I posted on Twitter to see if we get a reaction or a bounce where this extension is over here, okay? Where this fifth move is. And this Apple chart's really good to see because instead of going straight up here gently into the springtime, we did take that rocket ship straight up here today, okay? Now, this pullback, let's say Apple pulls back to this 154 or 148 or even as deep as 144, it still is not a sell the market type situation. So we have to actually break 145 for the market to be in a market crash scenario or anything more than an intermediate top. Okay, so use this chart, use these levels, and when you're planning how deep the correction goes or the pullback goes or whatever. Okay, so keep your eyes on Apple as we move forward. The next one that we're going to look at is ES. Oh, you know what? We'll look at Tesla next. Now, Tesla was the one stock today that did not. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go back and look at Tesla over here because I did a chart. I did a specific Tesla chart, I think. Yep. And I did this specific Tesla chart over here to talk about it holding. Now, I did say if Tesla holds above 1120, it'll go to 1263. Well, we did not do that today, did we? We went up to 1202, and the market ended up being set. So the indicator to have watched today was most definitely, I guess some of you out there could say, well, it's because we hit 1200. But in reality, I did this measured move over here. It should have hit 1263 today. And what really did show it better today was that Apple resistance channel. So one positive thing if you're a Tesla holder is that we did not break below this 1121 today. And that is important to know, okay? Now, the concern would be, where does SPY close? Well, what's the high on SPY tomorrow, right? And what's the low on SPY tomorrow, right? Do we close with a lower low? And do we close with a lower high tomorrow? That would confirm that the reversal on the weekly, the monthly, it would confirm it. But outside of that, we're not done yet we're not out of trend yet. I'm going to show you that here in a second on ES, that we have not broken trend yet and that the situation is actually still normal. So if you are a bear, you're looking for certain conditions to be met. And if you're a bull, you're looking for certain conditions to be met to turn bearish at this point, okay? And we've seen this in the past. I would say when we are in these situations like this, typically you can't really pin it until you are confirmed in another day or two. And then you'd need to further confirm on Friday. But the way the news was given yesterday and where valuations are today, I'm going to probably say that we're going to reverse at this point. I was really concerned today with the Hatchet team that was on CNBC. So, without further ado, we're going to head on over to the ES chart over here, and we're going to talk the mini. This is important. Okay? So, we're going to get a little bit closer here. This is the same chart that I had on for you yesterday. No difference. And this is a neat chart. So we bought this bottom down here, we bought this bottom here. I did end up closing this on Friday, and then I picked it up again this morning. Let's take a look here. I did end up picking the morning up over here, which was right here. And so we bought this open, and we closed this above here today. We actually rode this up live on Twitter, and I ended up trying to buy this sell-off down here, and I was stopped out twice in here, and then I bought it again here and rode it up until I was auto-sold here. Now this sell-off was excellent into the close yesterday, right? I'm assuming this comes into 1600 down here. Now, there are some things we need to look at here, okay? And this is what the concern would be. So this is our trend right here, right? And you see down here, we had a hard no, and we had a hard no here, and we pushed up here, and we're now down below here, in this same area. And we have a confluence of two rejection zones that are coming into play as we head. Now, let's say this is 930 right here. I think we talked about this specific area yesterday, but I want you to look where my cursor is down here, and you'll see that this is an area where we could bounce tomorrow at this is 930 right here. We could end up bouncing off here tomorrow. So what you're looking for is you're looking for the lower low, right? So maybe we sell off into the open tomorrow. You'll end up getting your lower low that you're looking for, and then you're going to be looking for your lower high on the daily. When you see both of those things take place, right, or we shoot up to the lower high and then we close down here tomorrow, if that were to happen, you can guarantee we're going to end up rolling, okay? Now, I talked to you last night about this number down here. I said to you that this 45.45 was off the table as of right now. Well, the way we move today, this is coming back on the table as we move forward. So here's what the plan is going to be tomorrow, is I am going to take this long. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to probably take this long tomorrow to this. Look for where we should be looking for our supports and resistances for tomorrow. So what I'm going to be looking for in here is areas of rejection, areas of support. So when we open tomorrow, we're either going to open and sell right off. I guess it's possible that you could say that we would sell right off at the open tomorrow, but I'm really not looking for that. I'm going to be looking, because of where the VIX is, I'm going to be looking for us to come up and get rejected to knock, push in that lower high tomorrow. So where would those rejections be? We know we have one up in here, right? So we'll put a minor resistance here. We know that we can have one somewhere up in here. We know that we had one here, right? One right here. We know we had another one up in here. Yep, so we've got one there. And we're going to let's spread this out a little bit here. We're probably going to have another one somewhere up in here. So if you're a bull, you can see that there's a lot of work that needs to be done tomorrow. I mean, you're talking about us needing to get all-time highs, or at the minimum to get a new high in the day. That's way up here. I doubt we get up here tomorrow, right? So there's a couple of things to be looking at. You're going to be looking at the VIX, right, which is it looks like it's at a top right now. So I'm going to expect a reversal tomorrow, and then I'm going to expect a rejection at some point tomorrow above here, and for continuing to sell off and testing new lows. Now we talked about where we want to target, right? So if we're going to become bear or turn bear, we're going to be looking for the rejection above here tomorrow, right? We've got 47.18, 47.11, 47.02. And we're also going to be looking for 46.87. And then what are the price targets once we get rejected? And the first hard rejection is probably going to be here at 46.68 tomorrow. And then we'll push on through down to 46.26. And let's scroll out a little bit farther and see what is this 46.26. Yep, and here we are. And this is this new channel that I drew in yesterday. So let's say we start looking at this 46.26. This is what I was talking about, if we are actually in a trend reversal or if we are just selling down into the bottom of this new channel that we have. So you need to be concerned tomorrow. Let's say we sell off, our price target's 46.24. And we actually bounce here and hold this. This could be a huge bear trap for us to make a giant move up. So let's be concerned about that. The next stop, though, would also be this 45.46 down below here. And so what we would be looking for is to look for a rejection tomorrow, right? And then we're gonna take this long into rejection. Then we're gonna take it short down for a target of 46.24. And then we'll wait for another rip higher and then take it lower to the 45.47. So stay tuned with me tomorrow on Twitter. If you're a bull, I would start to know how to at least get in and out on each on each sell the rip situation, right? So that you can grab a bottom and run it up. If you are a bull that can turn to bear, I'll give you those plays as well this week so that we know when to sell each rip as we roll over into the new year. And to be honest with you, any of you out there, it doesn't really matter if we go up or go down. If it's easier for us to go down right through into the end of Christmas, we can make just as much money on the downside as well. So be open to this. I talked to you in previous videos, including this last one from Sunday, that if we do end up selling off at any point from now into January, it still isn't a bad thing. You should have already been de-risked from the market. You should be in majority cash, and you should be playing with the money that you have. A prime example would have been Monday's trading day. We were able to make almost 500% yesterday and then go back into the market with 10 to 30%. You can't lose with this system even if the market begins to roll over. So I look forward to trading with you again tomorrow morning. As you know, my posting schedule has been kind of wonky. My sleep schedule has been all over the place as well. I've got Thanksgiving holiday coming up with friends and family. And so I'm again downstairs. I'm in my basement hole right now trying to make videos while people are either have finally left or have gone to sleep. So stay tuned as the week moves forward, and we'll go from there.
The world will end next week! Spend your children's college fund! Thaw that turkey now!